Hello, I'm Alan. Today we're drinking Mayleaf's Monocle Boss, which is a Sheng Puerh, so a young versus piled and heaped kind of. There's lots of videos that go over the differences between Sheng and Shou Puers. This is a Sheng. Their Monocle Boss was picked in spring 2016. I bought this in 2017, and I bought 2 cakes. This kind of reveals some of my noobness into teas. The only other pu'er I'd had before this was Tivana's, and it was a show pu'er, so it was just piled up to speed up the aging process. So this was not only my first non-Tivana pu'er, this was also my first Sheng. I think that's how you pronounce it, Sheng Puerh. So I bought 2 cakes with the intention of aging them. One I broke apart, and it is stored in a mason jar in my safe. So it's in a cool, dark place, and I only break it out once a year for my birthday. It was kind of the intention of, maybe once a year, me and this tea will grow old together and we'll have a steep. So I broke 1 cake apart, stored them in, most of it's in a clay jar, and what didn't fit in the clay jar is in a mason jar. So that's what I've been drinking through. Anyway, so that one was broke apart, and I kept one whole, and so in about 30-ish years, when the one that's broken apart has been used up, I'll break into the full cake, so the one that's still full, and it is stored in the original wrapping in a wooden box in the safe. But also in Utah. So I may be changing it, but that's where it's been since 2017, so the last 2 years. I definitely have started to find the world of pu'er blogs where they go into all sorts of ways of storing it and humidity and things, so I've got more research to do on that. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling, so this is what we're drinking today. Here's the leaf. It's very fuzzy still, so there's a lot of bud. And then 1, 2, 3 leaves. I've drunk this 3 times now. So I drunk it when I first purchased it in October 2017. Then I drunk it on my birthday in 2018. And I drunk it on my birthday this year. So I've had it 3 times before. So this is the 4th time. It's not my birthday, but it's just so that way I can kind of get through the teas that I've had and that I have as I just continue the journey through this. So very silvery, fuzzy leaves. The aroma of the dry leaf is very tart, like dried cherries is kind of the closest thing I can relate it to. I'll get it into the pot. The parameters, this is 5 grams of leaf per 100 ml. So I've got 10 grams going into the pot. And it is at 95 degrees. So I live elevation-wise between 13 and 1400 feet. 95 degrees is about as hot as I can get this. So basically boiling given the elevation. They recommend 15 seconds. Maybe I'll do a rinse first. Just a quick little rinse. Kind of wake it all up. Rinse it up. Alright. Now let's see what the wet leaf tastes or smells like. So I'm getting, as far as the fruity notes, still just kind of that tart cherries. And then some woodiness, but not like super old wood. Mostly just kind of tart cherries is what I'm smelling. Okay. Now we'll do it for the 15-second steep. First steep's kind of pulling out some of the amber color. It almost matches the same color as the handle, at least from my view. It's very similar. Ooh, interesting. Almost not smoky, but it's reminding me of maybe charcoal? Like sitting around a campfire that's no longer burning, but that ambiance of being around a burnt out campfire. That's interesting. I just haven't picked that up before. Get that out of the way. Look at this on just so it stays hot. Okay, so the cultivar of this is Dai Ye Zong, I think is how you pronounce that. And they give the dimensions and diameters of the tea trees they pick this from, and the claim is that it's a Gushu, or an ancient tree, which supposedly means that they've been able to get the roots deeper down into the rocks and able to pull out more minerals and minerality. And the source of this is Pasha, Yunnan, China. So Yunnan is very, from what I'm picking up, is kind of where pu'er comes from. Not necessarily Heicha, which is kind of the upper category that pu'er is a part of. I still need to research more. But anyway, I'm digressing. Pasha, Yunnan, China is the source of this. So it's very hot, so that's part of why I'm rambling as well. I'm trying to cool it down. But cheers. It's just the first steep, so it's still kind of waking up. It's getting notes of just, I don't know, storage, maybe. And it's mostly just, I don't know, kind of watery at this stage, but it's just the first steep. Usually around the third of most of the teas I've been trying, the third-ish steep is where most of the flavor comes out. Not too much on the mouthfeel, it's just kind of water, no mouth stickiness yet, no stringency, beyond, yeah, it's not like puckering my mouth, it's just kind of a brightness. That is hot. Maybe I'll let it cool down a little bit more. I realize I didn't pour it high like I normally do for trying to cool it down. So this was, I don't know if I meant, the elevation is, this was grown at 1,700 meters, which is, in relation to me, it's actually higher elevation than where I'm at here in Utah. And then price-wise, it's kind of in the mid-range of what I've been paying for the Gyokuros. It's at 41 cents a gram, or 11.62 cents an ounce. But nothing too exciting this first steep. Some on the dry cup, some more of the tartness is starting to come out. Oh, very interesting. It gets brighter and brighter as the cup gets drier and drier. So just tart and zingy, or like, is kind of what I'm experiencing as far as the aroma. Okay, so each steep they recommend just adding 5 seconds. So we're gonna do 20. Progress the T20 here. And I'll drink 3 or 4 steeps with you, and then drink the rest offline, and then come back once it's towards the end. Okay, we're at 20 right now. And it is hot. Whew. Okay. The leaves are starting to open up more, they're less curled up. Still just kind of the tartness. Tart cherries. But then, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm sitting on a log somewhere when I'm smelling that is where that's putting me. So I guess maybe in a foresty, woody area. The color is definitely now matching, at least from my angle, the amber color of my Heicha. Not Heicha. Gongdabe. There's few hairs in there, mostly from the buds. Okay, I'm gonna pour this high, try to cool it off. All right, and cheers. More woodiness. Now some astringency, some puckering happening. So yeah, the first steep, just not too much. It's the second through fourth is where I kind of start seeing the most action happening. Something I describe as light bitterness coming out too. Still very hot. Trying to think of words to describe. There's a light, cooling mintiness. Flavor-wise, it's just kind of the tart. Now, not as tart as when I bought it 2 years ago. So as I'm noticing the age, as I progress, this is now the fourth time I've had it over the course of 3 birthdays. So when I bought it, then 2018, this year's birthday, and now, I'm noticing the higher notes going away. I'm also, just as I'm going through the blogs and things, learning that there's like an awkward stage for tea. So this is at or was picked 3 years ago, almost 4, so 3.5 years ago. It's October here. So this could just be in the awkward stage of the tea as it's aging. Where it's like, there's just not, it's hard to pin down exactly what this is. There's dryness, I'm noticing. So maybe as I try to put my finger on words words I hear and what I'm experiencing, this dryness, I guess, would be equated to minerality, as far as I can tell. Take that with a grain of salt, though, with me being a noob and still trying to figure out what tea is. But there's some dryness, some cotton-mouthiness happening. All right, okay, let's do steep 3. So this will be 25 seconds. I also recognize traditionally it's done in a clay pot, but I don't have a clay pot. Well, I have a Qiaozhou clay pot. I don't have a Yixing pot yet, which is the most traditional. I am doing my due diligence as far as research for Yixing pots, and eventually I'll get one or a collection. We'll find out. I just don't have any at the moment, so we're doing glass with these short steep times. I don't think it matters too much as far as heat retention, but I can see where perhaps a clay might take off some of the bitterness. Okay, it's still, so the aroma, it's still just kind of putting me like I'm sitting in a pine forest. Not pininess, but there's that woodiness, that astringent, like sappy notes. Like there's a smokiness without it being smoky. So maybe just like charcoal, interesting as far as the smell. So this is steep 3, more kind of a dark amber golden color coming out. All right, cheers. Woo, very hot. I'm gonna try cooling this again. It's just, I don't want to burn myself and not be able to taste it. Maybe I'll do it 2 more times. And 1 and 2. Don't want to kill my tongue. All right, cheers. Okay, lots better. Dryness. I'm trying to see if I'm still salivating on the sides, but the tongue's very dry and cottonmouthy. It's just hard to place because I've seen where this started and have experienced its progression. I would definitely say it's in an awkward stage, even just to describe the flavor. There's still a lot in there, so it's not like bland. It's just mostly, I don't know, dryness, minerality, tart cherries, but muted tart cherries. All right, I'm gonna do one more with you on the camera, and then I'll drink the remaining steeps offline and we'll return. So this is steep 4. We're gonna do 30 seconds. The leaves are definitely opening up. I can start to see the oxidation on the leaf. And 30. Try to cool it. Some interesting things happening as I just, the dry on the throat, kind of the aromas that are happening afterwards. Wet leaves, woodiness, tartness, like a charcoaly smoky without it being smoky. It's just hard to describe. And being a noob, I don't know all the right words, but try to cool this off. Oops. The color has been pretty consistent through these first few steeps, which I'd hope so. So normally I can get about 15, so I'll drink 15 or so and come back after, but this is the 4th steep. Still a bit too hot. A lot of dryness, kind of a cooling minty as I inhale, but very cotton-mouthy. Not very. I'd say medium. Like, it's present, it's not overbearing though. So some astringency for sure. Some sticky, sticking to the roof. Still kind of just dried out cherries. Not as bright in this one, but All right. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and steep the rest of these offline, and I'll be back in a little bit, around steep 15 or so. So we'll see you soon. Welcome back. All right, we're doing this is the 15th steep, and so it's a minute 25. About 5 seconds away. This will be the last steep that I do. Get all the water out. So around steep 10 or 12-ish, the aroma kind of disappeared. It's now just wet, boring leaf at this stage. Flavor-wise, the fruit notes went away around about the same time. Fun things that happened, though, was around steeps 6 to 9, right around there, a lot of the menthol minty things were happening. So a lot of cooling sensation. So that was kind of fun through those steeps. Get that all. I decided to kind of cover this to help keep it warm, since it was going to take a while for me to brew them all. It's just kind of in the awkward stage, I would say, where there's flavor there, but the flavors are hard to pull out and describe what they are. It's mostly sensations is what I'm getting. So mintiness, cotton-mouthy chalkiness, not a lot of puckering astringency, but a lot of like mouth, tongue stuck to the roof of the mouth feelings. I'm very lightheaded at the moment after 15 of these. My heart, while not to the extent of having like 3 shots of espresso, the heart's kind of racing a little bit. My body's warm. So there's a lot of sensations happening with this tea. And just overall flavor-wise, though, is kind of at the awkward, like just kind of a woody, muted, dried cherry flavors. So this 15th steep, I would say kind of at the bland stage, so where a lot of the flavors have been extracted. Oh, as I was tossing it back and forth, it was mostly just to cool it, because 95 is hot water. Still a lot of that cotton-mouthy dryness. I guess minerality is the word for that. But, all right. So that was steep 15. Now what we're going to do is have the encore. Let all of the steeps sing together, and we'll see what their harmony brings out. Really big mason jar for that many steeps. Imagine I'll be spilling. But the color-wise maintained throughout it. I mean, that is just a beautiful amber color. At least to me, I find that color beautiful. Spilled all over. It caught the angle of the cup just right to shoot right back out at me. All right. Cheers. All right, so in the encore, there's a lot of the flavors back. Mentholated, cooling, woodiness, chalky, drying feeling. The encore is pretty yummy. Nothing like amazingly exciting, but yummy. Very energizing tea, though. Very lightheaded, very heart, kind of just above normal heart racingness. But anyway, all right. Well, thank you for joining me today. I rambled a lot, but Anyway, thank you. Have a wonderful day.